We have fire. It's burning down pretty good now. Just wasted all this time and effort. Let's give this another shot.
Hello, welcome back to another episode from Pale Horse Survival and Tactical. I'm Bill, glad you could join me. Well, I'm up on the mountains today, and weather conditions aren't very favorable. I managed to get a military poncho shelter erected. It's coming down pretty good up here, a mixture of rain and sleet and snow. What I'm going to try and do today is primitively pit cook a Cornish game hen. So I'm going to work on the pit and hopefully get a bow drill fire going. This is probably the worst conditions possible to do that, but I'm going to give it a shot and get the fire going and get the rocks nice and hot. We'll get that game hen cooking. Stay tuned.
Alright, using my, what I call my primitive multi-tool. It's a citrus wood digging stick slashed throwing stick. And so I went ahead and I'm going to duck out here. I got to keep the camera under the military rain poncho I have set up here. This is what I have so far. It's probably about almost a foot deep. This is the primitive multi-tool. Get back under here. Coming down pretty good out there. I don't want the camera to get soaked. I just beveled one in. It actually digs really good, and it has a curve to it which gives it some leverage. So when you stick it in, you can pry back, and you can really dig pretty quick with this thing. And it throws well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a flat rock down in the bottom over there. Okay, I just gathered up some tinder. This was dry, dead twigs at the lower reachable areas on trees. Conditions like this, you don't want to pick anything up off the ground. It's saturated, and you can use it once the fire is nice and hot and sustaining. You just toss it on there, and it'll hiss and dry and catch fire. But in the beginning, you want to try and get as dry tinder and kindling as you can. So the lower dead small branches, toothpick size on up to about pencil size, and if you bend them and they snap, when you bend them and they snap off the tree, then you know you're good to go. Right here is some manzanita. Dead manzanita branch I found, and I cut it up. And manzanita is native to the west coast of the United States, and to the best of my knowledge, it's the only place it's found in the western states. And I think Nevada, maybe Colorado is about as easterly as it gets. But manzanita burns really hot. It usually ignites pretty easy. It burns so hot, in fact, you can actually melt aluminum cookware in a campfire if you're not careful. And some people use it like coal to smelt aluminum. So I found that branch and I cut it up. So conditions like this, I'm going to need all the help I can get. And then over here is a pile of larger, mostly pine, that I just scouted around and grabbed. So anyways, I'm going to let my hands dry out, and fingers are pretty cold. I'm going to have to pull a few tricks out of the goodie bag to get this going. I'm going to do a bow drill. I light all my fires primitively. I haven't used a lighter, matches, anything like that in a long time. It's my camera bag back here. It's my trusty bow. It's an oak branch I've had for years. This is my possibles bag, M9A1 gas mask bag, Korean War issue. And inside I've got some pine sap and some resin sticks that I made that I actually shot a video on some time back, a few years ago. So like I said, I'm going to need a little bit of help here, so I'm going to use some natural help. A little bit of pine sap, nature's napalm, and a little bit of fat wood to get this going. So as soon as I dry out a little bit, we'll see if we can get this fire going. Stay tuned.
One of my fat wood sticks in here. Conditions are really super crummy out here today. Having some birch bark, more fat wood. Lost the pole. Messed around too long with the camera there and the pole went out. Alright. I think we might have enough. Might have one more coal left. Ah, that hole's getting ready to blow out. I think I'm just going to use the ferro rod.
guys are in frame here. Yeah, I lost the coal. I messed around with the camera. And coal went out on me. Yeah, I have some fat wood sticks in there and a little bit of birch bark helping to get it going. So I'm going to go ahead and let this fire build, and I shall return. Stay tuned. Alright, starting to go now. I had to throw some more pine sap that I go around and I harvest globs off of trees. I always keep some in my kit. So I threw a little more down in there. Fire's really problematical in weather like this. You really have to stay right on top of it. And I paused to move the camera, so I didn't want to drift out of frame, have anybody say, oh, well, maybe he used a lighter or whatever. And I always try to not cut the footage when I do primitive fire. And I do it all in one shot, and that was just enough time in these conditions for the coal to get weak. And I started blowing on it, and it almost went out all the way, and then I seen it start to glow again. It started to produce smoke, and then boom, it was gone. I was like, oh crap. And I figured, you know, I've been up here quite a while fighting this weather. It was a challenge just to get the military poncho up in these conditions, so I went ahead and decided to use my my good old fallback, which is my ferro rod. So that's my last resort method. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep this fire going here, and once I get a really good bed of coals going, I'm going to add some more stones down in the pit, and that needs to burn in there for about an hour, and get a good bed of coals, get those rocks good and hot, and then we'll go ahead and move to the next part of this video. We'll get that game hen down in there and covered with the hot rocks, and get it cooking. Stay tuned, I'll be back in a while. Hey guys, just an update here. I still got the fire going pretty good here. It's definitely self-sustaining. The temperatures are dropping off big time. Everything's starting to turn to ice, and I had to four-wheel my way back in here. Yeah, so I'm back in pretty deep, and there's only a single mountain road that comes back in here, and I'm down a trail a ways. But it's snowing off and on, and sleet, and I'm almost thinking I might have to get out of here early before I can get this this video completed, for the simple fact that with the temperatures dropping off and the roads being wet, everything's going to turn to ice. I don't really like the idea of descending the mountain on icy roads, so I may have to abort this one, unfortunately, due to the weather, and have to revisit this cooking, this the primitive rock cooking, when the conditions are a little more favorable. I'll hang in here for a little while and see how it goes, but it's really starting to drop off quick out here, the temps. It's probably dropped at least 20-25 degrees over the past hour. So I'll be back in a little bit. Stay tuned. back in the truck here and warming up the motor. Yeah, everything's starting to turn to ice. It's really dropped off quick. I'm trying to warm my hands up. Hands are pretty numb, so I'm amazed at how quick the temperatures dropped off up here. I'm pretty high, I'm about 6,000 foot, and it's probably dropped a good 25 degrees, and the roads are turning to ice, so everything's turning to ice. So I'm gonna get down off the mountain while I still can, and I guess we'll just call this part 1. And when conditions are more favorable, we'll try this one again with the rock cooking a primitive rock cooking a game hen. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you tuning in on this one. It didn't go quite well, but you know, it is winter time, well, early spring, and the weather is very changeable, so it's just the way it is. I appreciate you guys joining me, and I will see you very soon on part 2. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.